Hello and welcome to the Memory Arcade. Hello, hello, hello. It is almost October. In fact, in my time zone, it will be in 2 hours. So, yeah. An early happy Halloween to everyone. And this year I wanted to do something different. Because 2020 has been a horror show in and of itself. So we don't really need to play horror games to get in that mindset, do we? But I thought of something recently that is, Halloween adjacent to an extent, which is Batman games. Why not do a little retrospective on Batman games? Much more in the mood for vigilante justice. That's the spirit. Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna do a whole lot of Batman games this month. We're gonna start with some really think someone would like credit for the inspiration. Yeah. Thank you again for inspiring me to do so when we talked about the weirdly deformed hands of the Fall Guys and how much that reminded us of the flippers Danny DeVito's penguin had in Batman Returns. Batman Returns today not gonna be a subject unless I go through games today super quick. I don't expect to, but that would be Friday's stream. So we're gonna do Batman. Today we're gonna do strange early home computer games. Then we're gonna do adaptations of the first Tim Burton movie, 1989's Batman. And if there's a little time left, we'll take a look at Batman Return of the Joker for the NES, which was kind of a follow-up to an earlier movie tie-in game, and it's also somewhat well regarded. We'll see. I feel like Batman's constantly returning. Has it been a title more than once? To an extent. I mean, Tim Burton obviously titled his second movie Batman Returns because the second movie was about as good as Batman, calling it Batman 2 or whatever. There was a very influential book written by Frank Miller in the 80s called The Dark Knight Returns, and in that one, Batman had actually been on a 10-year hiatus. Not in the mainline comic books. Like in the comic books, he was always around, but for this particular graphic novel, it was like a hypothetical. What if he quit one day, spent 10 years in hiding, and then something stirs him to come out of retirement? And it's a super influential book for a variety of reasons. And the third Christopher Nolan movie adopts that premise too, like in The Dark Knight Rises, the follow-up to The Dark Knight. They they could have just called it Dark Knight Returns or whatever. But then The Dark Knight Returns also prominently features the Joker, and given Heath Ledger's untimely passing, that was not to be. I digress. Today we're talking mainly about, if any of the movies, the first Tim Burton one, I should say. In fact, there was a theatrical movie starring Adam West and Burt Ward that was a spin-off of the campy, colorful live-action series from the 60s. So it's not fair to call the Tim Burton movie the first one, because it really wasn't. It was, if anything, it was the second theatrical Batman movie. Ashamed to say the only reason I know Adam West played Batman is because of Family Guy. I I think as a kid, I just watched it when it was on. I wasn't too much into it. And then came the teenage years where I actively resented it because I was a teenager and an idiot. And these days, I should probably just rewatch it for the fun, because that show is a lot of fun. It knew exactly what it wanted to be. Anyway. You're on a bunch of coffee. Well, I have my highly caffeinated soda here, so you're in good company. Okay, let's take a look at... I should bring up the Wikipedia page for this game. If it has one. Released in 1986, made by Ocean, and it was released, it's simply called Batman, and it was released on the ZX Spectrum, the Amstrad CPC, that's the version we're playing, the MSX, and the Amstrad PCW. So just very old-timey, floppy-driven computers. And yeah, here we go. So for now we're not cheating. This is apparently a cracked version. In fact, of these really, really old home computer games, I was unable to find an... Oh wow, is this in a wider aspect ratio? That's interesting. Well, good thing I already added the Halloween kitty cats to the 16:9 overlay. I guess the people who cracked the game are French. No, in the sense that I guess some copy protections were removed, or that some cheats were added to make the game playable, more easily playable. And for a lot of these really old games, you sometimes cannot find the original code. It's just not there anymore. Yeah, look at that. This will probably be the most defined and recognizable Batman sprite we're gonna see for most of the evening. And as you can see, it's weird. Like, I'm still baffled that they were like, oh yeah, we got the Batman license. At least I hope they had the Batman license. And we're like, this is it. This is what we're gonna do with the Batman license. And yeah, before long I will just reset the game and activate cheats, because come on, no! Oh yeah, just like with movies, like movies parallel this beautifully. Back in the, when movies were new, it wasn't considered art, or in any way worthy of preservation. So there's just a ton of movies that are lost because the material was okay. I got a backpack. I don't know what for. Yeah, it wasn't considered art, and as such, the materials were pretty fickle, and there was virtually no preservation. Virtually no preservation effort, so, oh dear. Excuse me? Why would that break off if it's the only way for me to avoid this monster? Huh. Anyway. So movie preservation is not something that... This is devious and kinda nasty. And I'm on some kind of conveyor belt, so... By the way, we have been given no context for why Batman, what he's doing here. It's a mystery. But our boots are over there, and I tested this a little bit in advance, and yeah, the boots actually convey our ability to jump. I mean, yeah, the isometric perspective is super clever and neat. I can get behind that. No! You have assembled 0 bedcraft parts, explored 6 rooms, and died 9 times. Well... Let's restart this and give this poor bastard at least infinite lives. But gonna take it easy on the other stuff. The start screen is pretty dope for, you know, for the time, for what it is. So I guess this is supposed to be the Batcraft, and we need to reassemble it. I mean, the apparently only the cheat prompts at the beginning are in French, so we should be good. Yeah, and similarly, early video games were really not considered all that special, even when they were, even when they got commercial releases. So, oh, your pattern is random after all. Well, that's great. You can push stuff, that's interesting. Welp. But we return the backpack and we now have infinite lives, so... Oh. I also like how the enemies, some of them are super abstract, that's one thing, but they also bear absolutely no resemblance to any... Well, fuck you, collision detection. Any resemblance to any of the classic Batman villains. Like, who's this guy? Snake face dude? Why would it put me back? It put me back to the main... Obviously Dr. Robotnik. So this one breaks, right? Or not quite. I have some notes regarding the jumping. Oh great, he always jumps forward, so even if I don't press anything. Anyway, we don't have to mess with this guy anymore. I mean... if the developer told me... oh, I cannot touch these blocks. That makes so much sense now. I love how trial and error all of this is. Like, yeah, we gave you limited lives in the original version, but... we're also not gonna tell you up front what's dangerous and what isn't. God. Surprise conveyor belt, again. I think it's kind of exciting that the very first Batman game is not predicated on violence at all. And while I'm saying this, I realize how much I would really like to bust some faces. Because of how tedious some of this is. But yeah, good on them for being creative with that license, I guess. Oh my god. It's a little Batman dude. And now I can... oh. Now I move faster and I jump higher. But it's limited. And I have no idea what I need it for. And there are once again things that kill me. I don't think I'll... So what if there is a jump that I absolutely have to make while having this energy, which is now depleted? Am I just screwed? Oh, this is the entrance. Oh, there's more. And it gave me something else entirely. It gave me a little bat symbol, which makes me less vulnerable. It's like armor, but it also depletes. It's actually just a temporary buff. I don't even have to move. Great, and now I have this bat invulnerability, because you gotta put bat in front of it, while I'm walking on spikes with no way up. Anyway, if a dev told me that this was just a scarecrow-induced fever dream, I would be like, yeah, sure. Is there any button that allows me to pull? Also, I really don't appreciate the elephant footstools or whatever these are supposed to be. They're just nasty. Okay. Rebooting once more. And we're not just taking the infinite lives, we're taking the infinite everything. Actually, let's have a look at that menu. Maybe we weren't even playing with a full deck. Carry. Okay, now we're graced with infinite invincibility. And I forgot we cannot yet jump. Oh damn, dropping some frames, huh? How did that happen? And it keeps happening. Do I have anything open in the background? The game's just being... Okay, that works. Like, one of these tiles pushes you back, the other one just breaks, and the other one just puts you into the spikes, so... Yeah. Sorry about those dropped frames, folks. I... no idea what happened there. So fun fact about the infinite armor cheat, as you may have noticed, it just refills the armor whenever it drops to 0, which is good because this allows it to drop to 0 so that we can actually die if we fall onto spikes and can't get back up. Okay, so we need the boots to be able to jump at all, but in order to jump high we also need rope. Which, yeah, I guess in a Batman kind of way that makes sense, but... ew. Okay, so I picked something up, and then I can not pull myself back Minecraft style. Huh. Oops. I guess I'm just gonna take this gadget, whatever it does. Oh, looks like a scuba gear. Can I jump on these enemies? I can. And I think I just Super Mario'd one of the platforms. Along with this one. That's devious. How am I supposed to even get back up there? I mean, that's an option, yeah. Can't push this one. Splendid. I'm giving this room another minute, and by extension the game. Good grief. Oh. Wasn't half bad. Okay. But why? Maybe it's a lift to an upper. Am I having fun? That's a loaded question. Oh. My belt! Shit. At least there's no fall damage in this game. It's... I mean... It's such an odd... It's such an odd game. Like, who would look at Batman comics, even Batman comics from the 80s, which were not that different from Batman comics today, and would go, yeah, you know, an isometric metric little puzzle game, and with strange little mechanics and I quite like isometric games because they are an interesting compromise between, you know, fully 3D worlds and something you can do with much less hardware. Wait, I could have just walked there? And I got crushed. But isometric games, they have their limits, and jumping puzzles are absolutely one of their limits. Oh, it's another conveyor belt. Shit. Yeah, was Monument Valley in an isometric? I just want my belt back. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to Batman the Caped Crusader, released for a variety of platforms. We're playing the Amiga release, and the Amiga is a fun little console. No, not a console, computer. Insofar that I only ever encountered Amigas in the wild as toys. Like, I had friends who had Amigas and they used them to play games. Like, I never encountered an Amiga in any kind of productivity context, though they could probably all do that, since it was a general purpose PC. And what I quite like about this emulator in particular what is up with that? Oh, okay. It emulates the loading times of a floppy disk, along with the sound of a floppy disk drive. That might not mean a whole lot to a lot of folks, but damn, it's a nostalgia rush. Not the good kind of nostalgia. I think we want to take the unlimited lives right away, huh? The music's a banger. And we begin in the Batcave. Okay, so I could control this with a mouse, but also with a stick. any of the buttons work. Right. Did we do it? We didn't. Where am I supposed to insert the disc? I love that there is a door in the Batcave that immediately leads out into the city, and it's open. Maybe the disc needs to be inserted here? Oh yes, the bat hand grenade. How could I forget? Such an essential part of the Cape Crusaders crime fighting. Bruce will fix it. Okay. How so? Computer operational. Can I now insert the disk? Not here. Ah. so we're definitely seeing an upgrade in graphics, but I'm not sure we're seeing one in terms of quality. Like gameplay-wise. We got random folks in suits with guns who are coming after us. And tiny airplanes. And a banana. A banana? Sure. And what? Oh, wind-up penguins. Well, I mean, in a pickle? I don't know. So this is with infinite lives on, meaning we can't be hurt, but the controls are miserable, by the way. It's all just, since Amiga games would usually be played with a single button joystick, it's not just all controlled, you know, by moving the analog stick or the D-pad in a certain direction. No, it's also like down and the button opens the menu. That's the level of that's the control I'm operating here on here. And likewise, just pressing the button does nothing. Pressing sideways in the button throws a batarang or a punch, depending on how close you are to an enemy. This is all not very good. But what a view indeed. Oh yeah, we changed games a little while ago. I mean, we now have music, so that's nice. Yeah, I think this is from 1988. And yeah, this is the Amiga version of said game. And I mean, it looks better, it has a little bit of music, and the music is a little bit of a bop, based on the classic Adam West TV show theme, but the controls are dog shit. Like, I can't even mince words here. Oh, that's fine. No worries. And suddenly I'm going faster for reasons. And we're back in the Batcave, because everyone can just walk into the Batcave, I guess. Why would the cops shoot us? We offer them a banana. I guess not. This is really painful. Like this game isn't just bad, it's just so simple and at the same time completely obtuse. And I know a lot of games back then relied on a manual to give you an idea what's up, but this is just a new level of... Oh, we found the bad flashlight. No, I found a flashlight. You know, a flashlight. You heard me. Plus, it's not just a flashlight, it's a bad flashlight. Because Batman uses it. Wait, does the map just loop around? Oh my god, it just loops around. Anyway, I'm gonna call this here because I'm pretty sure this game does not get a whole lot more interesting. Plus I need something good. I'm gonna take a brief break and go to the bathroom, and afterwards I'll be back with Batman the game on the NES. Anyway, it's gonna be an adaptation of the Tim Burton movie, however loosely. See you in a bit. And we're back. So, fast forward to 1989. Warner Brothers releases Tim Burton's first Batman movie, simply titled. Get back at the same time? Yeah? Drift compatible. Yeah, so Gotham City. Joker, the city's evil leader. He has spread poisonous nerve gas all over town and has terrorized the... Wow, why does this text move so fast? Anyway, none of this is important. This movie made more money than God, and is widely considered to be one of the definitive classics of the genre, if superhero movies could be considered a genre. Oh no, games like this did not have settings for that. Anyway, time to jump into Batmobile and rid Gotham of crime. And for the first time, it feels like we're actually doing something, like vaguely Batman related. Also, this is, I guess, an official tie-in to that movie. But the NES game, like, I have no idea what the story here was. If they were like just making a Batman game or any kind of game really that kind of fit the mold and then retrofitted it to be a Batman game. Like, there were no guys with flamethrowers in the Tim Burton movie. Well, I mean, Pokemon Red was probably like 6 or 7 years later. Flamethrowers wouldn't be very Tim Burton. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Tim Burton's take on Firefly, but like not the Firefly TV show, but the Batman villain Firefly. But yeah, it's a platformer with a bit of action thrown in, and Batman just goes up in flames whenever he dies, and yeah, this is generally people consider this one of the better action games of the era and of the NES library, and you can see why. Like, if movement looks pretty tight and fluid, it's because it is. This game plays really well, even 30 years down the line. And it has a wall jump. Like, look at this shit. Not every game had that. In fact, you can still die spectacularly if you're not careful, but 2-year follow-anniversary. Oh, thank you. And I haven't even touched on something really significant in this game. Batman comes strapped with, well, you guessed it, lots and lots of batarangs. And when I first tested this out, because I didn't play this back in the day, I was like, okay, cool. You get batarangs in as an alternative to punching stuff, and that works pretty well. But it's not his own batarangs. It's a portmanteau of Boomerang and well, Batman. But also, he comes with a gun, which doesn't seem very Batman at all. A gun that shoots little rockets. So I guess it's more like a handheld bat rocket launcher. And then there's a shuriken that splits into 3 shurikens, which is hella cool, even if it has limited it has limited usefulness. Is it as good as the Boomerang in Ocarina of Time? I wouldn't know how to quantify that, but it actually behaves like a boomerang in the sense that it comes back, so you can hit certain enemies twice. Which I appreciate. So if I remember correctly, this game already gives you unlimited continues. We're playing with unlimited lives, simply because the only thing a continue really does is... I mean, a continue puts you back at the beginning of a stage, whereas a life puts you back at the beginning of a section. And this is actually one of the games that, if time permits, I wouldn't mind finishing, or at least get somewhat into. Because it's, yeah, this one's actually fun to play. Also, I mean, sure, Batman is purple in this game. But also, the graphics are really clean, like everything is communicated pretty well. I know what I can jump on, I know what's supposed to be part of the background, what's an enemy. This kind of clear visual language wasn't always a given back in those days. And yeah, no, I'm grateful for that. Also, just look at this ninja dude just hanging out there until, oh, Batman came around. Well, I guess I'm fighting him. And really, this has to have been a different game when they were building this. I would love to know if there's a story behind this. Just because it's so removed from anything that that really happens in a movie. Because no, there wasn't a guy with a jetpack. No offense, dude, but your moveset kinda sucks. Shit, I'm completely out of ammunition. What's interesting is that all these various gadgets all take one type of ammunition, so you either have some or you don't, and they use up different amounts. And yeah, you stand no chance in hell. Is there an ammo cheat? Apparently not. Huh. That, on the other hand, is straight out of the movie. Yeah. Game, please. There we go. I like how the answer was to, there's gonna be this Batman movie. What kind of video game should we make of it? The answer was like, oh, Mega Man games are really popular. Let's make that. Because this very much feels like a Mega Man game in both general design and handling. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I first watched Batman 89. Like, that movie had an age 12 rating in Germany, so I think I wasn't supposed to watch it as a kid. I guess I somehow managed to, certainly not in a theater. Yeah, but I think it's also probably the reason I ended up being a fan of Batman stories, comic books, etc. Ever since. Because that movie was just... It's a very tired phrase to go, yeah, it was like anything, unlike anything I'd ever seen before, but in that case, yeah, no, this absolutely was, the movie absolutely was a game changer, not just because of how much money it made, but also the way it kind of made all that comic books stuff, the gadgets, the car, the fighting and all that. It made it kind of believable, which, sure, that's the job of a live-action movie, right? And looking back, it's not, like, for instance, the fight scenes, they're not even that great. Michael Keaton can barely move in that suit. And it's evident just how the fight scenes are staged and choreographed, and it didn't get much better in Batman Returns. In fact, it took them, I don't know how many years, to even make a decent live-action Batman fight scene, until Ben Affleck was in the suit and Zack Snyder directed. And I'm not particularly fond of Batman v Superman. But in terms of a comic aesthetic to film adaptation, that was the first movie where Batman wasn't quite shackled by either the limitations of the filmmaking, like, can we make a guy in this kind of suit move really fast? No? Well, then we'll work around that. That was kind of what they went for with the Burton and Schumacher movies. And then Christopher Nolan was like, well, a guy in such a suit cannot move that fast, and I'm all about realism. So he will also be very, very much an infighter and a brawler, not so much do fancy kung fu bullshit. Oh, good grief. So, as much as I dislike Batman v Superman as a whole, that one scene where Ben Affleck's Batman gets to cut loose on a bunch of hired goons and just tears them apart Arkham Asylum style, the game Arkham Asylum, which we will also play this month. It was a sight to behold. Like, that was some cool shit. And incidentally, it really makes me want it makes me wish that these games were better. Not games, those movies had been better overall, because I think Zack Snyder does have a lot of talent and in a lot of areas of filmmaking. Anyway, back to the 1989 movie. They famously cast Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and kind of began this trend that whenever there's a Batman movie, the actors playing the villains kind of end up overshadowing whoever ends up playing Batman. Like, that has held true for most of these flicks. But also because Jack Nicholson was absolutely game for this movie. Like, he gave a performance for the ages, and seemed to have a lot of fun doing so. And that movie made him filthy rich, because he was smart enough to go, hey, you know what? I'll do the movie for less. Shit. Could have avoided that. He was like, hey, I'll do the movie for less. Just cut me on the merchandising. So he probably still earns money off of that movie to this day, because posters or coffee mugs or t-shirts with the particular kind of bat symbol and aesthetic. Not sure if home video was in that deal, but anyway, he made a ton of money because, yeah, this was one of the most successfully merchandised movie of all time. And what a big brain play to just go, yeah, no, give me some of that merch money. I'll play your Joker. Yeah, and it's also known as one of the more restrained Tim Burton movies, where he's not all about his gothic aesthetic and tortured loner narratives, although, I mean, he still gets to make a movie about Bruce Wayne, who works really well as a Tim Burton protagonist, and we immediately died. It's okay. Yeah, remember when Michael Keaton's Batman was fighting that supercomputer with the conveyor belts and the automatic gun systems in the movie? Wasn't that something? Again, this has nothing to do with the film. We're gonna be playing a game next that is pretty much a straight adaptation of this of the movie. So in terms of the aesthetic and the Joker goons as boss enemies and all that, we're gonna get all that. This one I mainly wanted to play because of its reputation as a good action game, and it does not disappoint. It frustrates here and there, but it does not disappoint. Wasting way too much health on this section. Like, we're almost dead. Might as well throw this. I'm not even supposed to attack that. Wow, the one on the right doesn't even open up properly. If you're not far away enough. That's devious. What if I go here? Huh. Ah, the pro strat. Whew. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Yeah. Oh, the giant frogman! Don't forget about the giant frogman in Tim Burton's seminal movie classic, Batman. I mean, honestly, if you had asked Burton back in the day if he wanted to put giant frogman into his movie, would probably have been like, yeah, I get to? Wow. Absolutely. So, I know it doesn't seem very Batman-like to, you know, employ a gun, but the important thing here is not that he uses a gun, or what seems to be a gun, but more, you know, first of all, the first thing he does is establish wrist control, and once you have wrist control, it's a crucial first step. Shit. Levels are getting brutal. I kinda wanted to finish this one, but we don't have to. Like if I get stumped too long on, say, this one fucking enemy, god damn it, will you just... I also like how he just does the little tiny jumps, so I could never quite get out of his hitbox. Still have no idea what the little bees that I'm collecting signify. Sure. Fuck. You know what I haven't done this whole time? Use my nifty little rewind feature. Or as I call it, the bad bullshit rewind gadget. Damn, he followed me. Pardon? I apologize for the audio nightmare. Good grief. Okay, one more time. We have 2 more games to go, so I might as well move on. Especially since, as much fun as this game is gameplay-wise, it really is not the best representation of the people associated with Batman back in the day. Yeah, I'll take another short break and then I'll be back with Batman for the Sega Genesis. Stay tuned. For today, for the retrospective, we're looking at, I'll say about 20 games, maybe? I haven't actually counted them. Well, be right back. we're back. Let's see if there's any kind of intro. The citizens of Gotham City are gearing up for the city's 200th anniversary festival. Head of the crime syndicate, Carl Grissom, and his right-hand man Jack Napier don't see eye to eye. Because of the differences, Grissom sets up Jack Napier by notifying the police that there is a break-in at the Axis chemical factory. Batman arrives on the scene to help police apprehend Napier. As Napier tries to escape, he accidentally falls into a vat. Oh, spoilers. Into a vat of liquid waste. The Cape Crusader departs and Napier is nowhere to be found. Still alive, Jack's appearance has been altered dramatically. His flesh is bleached bone white, hair colored seaweed green, cheeks torn and puckered, and his mouth twisted in a hideous grin. Jack's altered persona emerges as the Joker. His first dirty deed is to do in Grissom. Next, the Joker... Wow, this is a rundown of the entire movie. Next, the Joker tries to bring Gotham City to its knees by poisoning the people with a... Did it? However, Batman is wise to Joker's scheme and finds an antidote to the gas. And so on and so forth. Oh, this is really a rundown of the entire movie. Well. Yeah, more manageable. Also, Vicky Vale, Batman's love interest in that movie, we'll probably not see that much of her because she barely features into the. I mean, she was pretty prominent in the movie, but I assume we won't see much of her in the context of a game. What a walk animation. So visually, this is obviously a lot better, or at least, you know, more modern, more detailed. On account of the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis in some regions. You know, just having more oomph in terms of hardware. However, it doesn't quite play as fluidly. Like in this one, you just have this awkward little walk. Batman jumps okay. I mean, he jumps unrealistically high for a normal human being, but you know, in terms of this makes for fun gameplay. The jump is okay. The walk is a little stiff. Also gotta love how you have to go in. how you basically have to take damage in order to get within range of this guy. Like even the swipe should be... Damn. But you know, everything looks a little more like the movie, and this game was probably also made with the designers knowing a little bit about the movie, what it's gonna look like. And we have a grappling hook. And some kind of forward roll double jump, which covers a decent amount of distance, which when I was testing this game beforehand I had to look up, because I was stumped on how to get past that barrier early on, because you need to specifically use your grappling hook, which is kind of a very specific kind of mechanic to this game, along with the forward double jump. That's kind of cheeky how this game starts you off with a limited health meter. You don't start at full health, which, damn. Let's say this didn't happen. Ah, again, the forward jump. I mean, I guess we could just go over there and punch him. Let's do that. Oh, we defeated the Joker. That was fast. Oh, obviously, that was just his kinda protoform. The movie did an interesting thing by, like in the comics, Joker's identity was never really fully revealed. Like there's some stories that like the Killing Joke, where that give like possible explanations for how he came about, what the cause of his nihilism and the arrangement was, and so on and so forth. Don't you hate it when environmental traps don't affect enemies and you're kinda just stuck? Especially if they respawn incessantly while you only have a limited number of batarangs. And here's a big bearded dude with an axe. Don't remember him from the movie. Yeah, so the Joker was just a cipher in the comics for many, many decades. And in the movie they were like, yeah, you know what, that's a little... that's a little unpersonal. Let's give him a name, and let's also make him the guy who happened to kill the Waynes. Because, yeah, sure, from a screenwriting perspective, I absolutely get it. Why they would go that route. Kinda makes the whole... kinda simplifies the story to a degree that's a little... that's a bit of a shame. I have a feeling I'm gonna lose more than 3 health to trying to get that. God damn it! Yep, not worth it. Sure. Theatricality and deception. They did a great job with the artwork. Like, specifically, some of these art pieces are actually recognizable. Oh shit. Hey, I know that guy. And he has such a lovely smile on his face, too. Those wonderful toys. Okay. I mean, those cars are purple, so I'm just hoping that they're all Joker henchmen and not just random citizens that we are obliterating. Why does our life meter look like Batman is behind bars? Kind of a mixed message here regarding our vigilantism. Can I get infinite lives? Did that cheat just kill the music? I think that cheat just killed the music. That's such a shame. Huh. What to do, what to do. Didn't mess with the music cheats, so... Okay. Also, yeah, this is a thing that is gonna delight or haunt us, depending on how it plays out, across the entire retrospective. Because, of course, Batman has the car, and Batmobile sections are... yeah, they're kind of a staple of Batman games, because of course, why wouldn't you? It's an easy way to spice things up a little bit. And yeah, some of these sections can be really fun. Some of them are atrocious. Not in this game specifically, but you know, across the entire franchise. And in some cases, they even built entire games just around racing across through the streets of Gotham in the Batmobile. Sometimes with extended sections where you have to avoid civilians. And those are... yeah. It's an interesting take on what would make a fun Batman game, that's for sure. By the way, I don't really see how this... oh, this was off the whole time. I hope it's on now. Huh. Okay, so the infinite lives cheat seems to be working. It's good. Still so weird to me that they would start you off with a half-full health bar every time you die. It seems needlessly punishing. Oh my god, they brought in mimes. Oh, and now everything hits you for 2. That's fun. Now we got fire breathing mimes. I mean, I don't need everything in these games, or in this game specifically. Damn. To be faithful to the movie, at least mimes seem plausible in the context of the Joker being the villain. More than random robotic drones and guys with flamethrowers. I like how they don't just hit for 2, they're also impervious to the batarang. And for those unfamiliar with the film, this guy is actually in the movie. Like, dude in an army jacket and a beret with 2 giant-ass swords seems a little out there, but he actually has a scene in which he makes a big show on how proficient he is with the sword. And they don't quite rip off Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indiana Jones just shoots a guy with a sword. They don't quite go there. How does Batman defeat him? Huh. I think he actually just fights him for a little bit. And maybe childhood me just kept confusing that scene with Raiders of the Lost Ark and thought that there was some interesting or clever way that Batman goes about it, but I think he just blocks the sword with his gauntlet, and yeah, kicks him on the shin or something. In the sky over Gotham City. And oh yes, the bat plane. Honestly, it's such a shame that the bat plane was... It was probably a budget thing, and it's entirely understandable, but it's also kind of a shame that the plane was barely in the movie. Because it was a really cool design. I like how it... I mean, there's obviously the legendary shot where it flies up in front of the moon, and for a second there the moon looks like the Batman logo. Like that's an absolute money shot, but yeah, I think as a kid I liked the plane best. It was hella cool. And while we're talking of the movies, and we're gonna be talking about the movies for a little while, because a lot of these games that we're playing are not really comic book to game adaptations, but more like comic book to movie to game adaptations, which sometimes reflects on the quality. Not always. Like the Batman games are somewhat lucky in the sense that there was a certain time or a certain contingent of games that weren't terrible. Even though they were adapted from movies, which in and of themselves were adaptations, so... And yeah, we're actually in Gotham Cathedral. We might actually finish this game. I mean, sure, with infinite lives, but... But yeah, while we're talking about the movies, I'm gonna take a page out of a podcast I've been watching, the James Bond Rewatch podcast that Loading Ready On are doing, where every podcast and every movie they watch, they pick pick their favorite James Bond movies, and I think I want to do that too with the Batman movies. And specifically in the first Tim Burton movie, I think my favorite moment that just says Batman to me is the one where he takes Vicky Vale to the Batcave, and it's just a really quiet, dialogue-free sequence of them driving in the Batmobile through a forest. Back to the cave. She doesn't know that, but there's a certain amount of apprehension, like she knows that he's... or she hopes that he's one of the good guys. But she's also kind of being abducted by him, I don't quite remember. And it's just this, like, Danny Elfman's score is just... doing the work there, along with Keaton's stoic expression in the mask and everything, and you get little details shots, like the accelerator on the Batmobile being just this very bare, functional, technical thing, and it's just an all-around great scene, and it culminates obviously with the fake out of him driving headlong into a wall, which then turns out to be an illusion that we're never really told what it is that makes that wall look like a wall, even though it's a tunnel. Like, whether it's an optical trick or if he has holographic technology or some shit. But yeah, it's such a great moment, and it... and yeah, definitely one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. We got more mimes. Huh. I believe we're looking at a boss rush. I guess while I'm at it, I might as well also name one of my favorite villain scenes, because the villains are just so integral to the Batman movies. But then again, this is also a really easy pick, because Jack Nicholson talking to a corpse for 3 minutes, to a smoking, charred corpse for 3 minutes. Like, there's really no contest. Like, that's the scene. Especially since it's just the Joker and one of his victims. There's no one else in the room. And you realize this guy isn't just putting on a show. That's who he actually is. Which makes this even creepier. I wonder if there were any scenes... Oh yeah, I was wondering if there were any scenes in The Dark Knight where Heath Ledger's Joker was just by himself. And because he plays just about everyone in that movie, like a fiddle. So it's sometimes difficult to say, okay, but what's this deal for real now? This place is getting a little repetitive. Oh, those are mines. That's good to know. Oh shit. At this point I'm also no longer going to mention anything that wasn't in the movie, because Batman was probably really badly concussed at this stage, so who knows what he saw. Shit. What a shitty jump. Oh, come on. I mean, obviously the cathedral level should be vertical. Why would... Otherwise, why have a cathedral level? But goddamn. Are these pixel perfect jumps? They are, aren't they? God damn it. What a solary is this? God damn. There's a special hell for level designers who come up with this kind of thing. How does my fancy double jump work after all? No, it's too low. Can I stand on these? Sure can't. Oh god. Shit, the other one was the one with the moon jump cheat. How many cheats are there for this game? I think I'm messing with the level loading mechanics with this jump sheet, but sure, why not? Oh, great, another really far jump that... Okay, far jumps are possible with this. Suddenly we're in a Zelda dungeon. Yeah, I know this guy. Why? What? Is that supposed to be his his hand shocker? I mean, I'm glad they gave him the massive gun, but... Joker has slammed down to the ground from the top stair of the cathedral. Now Joker looks dizzy with his face ice cold, yet his teeth stuck out, and his eyes directed at... whatever. Quickly advancing text. Anyway, that was Batman for the Sega Genesis. I think the NES game was much more fun to play. Much tighter movement and yeah, better level design. Like this was all kind of samey. The graphics were okay. But also not super great. Yeah, I don't know. It did get me more in the mood to reminisce about the movie, because it was a closer adaptation. But anyway, they made a kind of sequel to the NES game called Return of the Joker, which aesthetically was more inspired by the comics, even though it kinda implies that it may be in some tenuous continuity with the games. With the first game and as such also the movie. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Yeah, let's have a look at that one. Still uses that 89 Batman font. Should I have waited for any kind of intro? Let's wait for a little bit. But yeah, I think pretty much all the console games we've looked at today were made by Sunsoft, who are no longer around. I don't know if that studio eventually just shuttered or was bought out. Ah, there's an intro. Oh yeah, that is comic book Joker at his finest. He looks good. Also, yeah, that's a pretty neat rendering. I'm not sure what that stuff in the background is supposed to be, like if it's, I don't know, is it rose petal season in Gotham, but yeah, let's have a look at this game. So this is, I guess, a sequel to the NES game, and one immediate issue is Okay, let's talk positives first. Look at the sprite work. Like, this is... For the original NES, this is a massive sprite to give the player to play as, so that's really cool. But immediately, see this little slide? Batman controls a little fuzzy in this one, and I'm not sure I like that. And also, this is also kind of just a Contra game in a way, because you don't really punch anything. I mean, I don't play these games specifically because I'm hellbent on punching something, but since I suppose most players played the previous game mostly with the batarangs when they could get them, this game is all about this. You pick up different variations of batarangs, and that's how you interact with Gotham. With the batarang dispenser, parentheses, not a gun. And I guess Batman doesn't die, but uses his emergency bat teleportation device. Glitter bomb! But yeah, so visually, this is certainly an upgrade towards the compared to the first NES game. But also, like, the wall jump is gone, which is a shame, but then again, with a sprite this big, the focus isn't that much on platforming to begin with. Have a good sleep, good Tara. Thanks for watching. But yeah, this is an odd one. Again, really good, really impressive tech for an NES game. But also, this is the least mobile and agile we've seen Batman in all the action games we've played. Like or I should clarify, the console games we've played. Like even the Genesis with its rather stiff controls, Batman handled better than this. Here you really just walk. You don't run, you walk. You get one jump, the jump controls okay-ish. Like it's not... there's no double jump, there's no wall jump, it's all just kinda... Yeah, it's very basic. The weapons are fun. But I think... I'd say if someone asks you... If someone asks you what you liked most about a Batman game, and the person's answer is the gunplay, then maybe the project didn't have quite its priorities in order. I do like this idea that you get a separate health bar for fighting the boss, which also makes the boss kind of an event. That was neat. Oh dear. Oh, you can't jump on that. Okay. Well, poop. And yeah, as you can see, I'm already making quite liberal use of the rewind feature of my emulator, because really, yeah, like I said, the game looks nice. Okay, jetpack. Yeah, no, that's getting better. That's cool. I'm a sucker for shmup sequence. I'm not gonna lie, as irritating as slowdown can be, I kinda dig it when you can almost hear the processor of the console screaming for mercy. Because there's just too many goddamn sprites on the screen. Oh, please tell me that wasn't it. Oh, there wasn't even a boss fight. Snow! And Wind Wizards. Yeah, I mean, that's such a staple of the Joker's gang. Like, right after Harley Quinn and guys in clown masks, you think Wind Wizards, right? That's a thing? Sure. Again, it looks pretty. Or they just keep firing. That's fun. Yeah. Okay, we got infinite lives. Let's go infinite energy for a little while. I'm just curious where they're going with this, because some of this stuff is enjoyable, like entertainingly random. Wouldn't mind some context for this, like the idea... Okay, now we're... Did we just lock into the Batman Killer mech suit? of course. Instant death. How could I... why would I expect different? And giant spiders. Our second boss is a guy in a huge... like, is he a robot? Is it a robot? Is it... yeah, you do that. Thanks for watching. Yeah, no worries. Take your time, rest up. I have to, like, with the first game I was already suspecting that they took some game that they had in development and were like, oh yeah, we got the license, let's retool this as a Batman game. Get this out in time for the movie. Or the holiday season after the movie. And with this game, it's kind of similar, like... unless I'm missing huge chunks of Batman comic book lore, this feels very much, yeah, again, like a retooled kind of situation. Invincible in boss fights. Especially this strange power-up mechanic, which I enjoy again. The idea that you're not just crawling to a boss fight and then you're completely tuckered out, but in fact they give you a much longer health meter, so your attempt is more exciting. But they also fill you completely up at the beginning of the fight. That's a fun mechanic. I wouldn't mind seeing that elsewhere. Oh wow, this is with turbo. We shoot this slowly. Oh shit, we have a ground slide. Okay, so I have to retract a few of the unkind things that I have to say about this game's movements. Like, it's not... Wait, is this a tug of war? Like, are we siphoning power of... Never mind. Like, I would prefer some kind of double jump or wall jump in addition to this slide, but slide's not bad. And now we're jumping through Industrial Waste, fighting the Ninja Turtles, I guess, maybe? By the way, there was an animated Batman vs. TMNT movie a couple years ago, and if you think that... Okay, neat. If you think that a Batman Turtles crossover is silly, you would be right. But it was also pretty awesome, like, they nailed it. Like, the only beef I have with it is that I think Ra's al Ghul was the big bad on Batman's side, who is frequently one of the... doesn't have to be, but is frequently one of the most overused and uninteresting Batman villains around. But yeah, Shredder and the Foot Clan were still in it, and yeah, it was a fun direct-to-video 80-minute affair, and I highly recommend it for anyone who likes Batman and the Turtles, like me. And yeah, I should probably also do a deep dive on Turtles games. We haven't had a really good one in a while, but some of the old-timey Turtle stuff was really great, and I should play some of them. Which is to say, I think I played Turtles in Time at some point on stream. Probably. Yeah, but even that one has like two variants, like the arcade game it's based on, and Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis. All good stuff. And suddenly we're fighting the Master Control Program, Skynet, okay, we're filling up... Are we filling up the boss's meter? So the... It's interesting that the invincible in boss fights cheat didn't work. Or do I have to put it in? No. Okay, I have to very carefully hit the center. This was doable. I think I overstrut down. Damn. Whew. I was in the zone there for a bit. Neat. Sunsoft, you gotta tell me if you just wanted to make a Turtles game. Can be forgiven if I... Oh wow, these are destructible. And they are fluid. They look like they belong to the brickwork, but shows what I know. Phew. Yeah, that totally began development as a Batman game. No doubt. Plays fun. No boss fight in this area, really? Oh, you can stand on those. Appreciate that. And it's a tank. I just thought to myself that, hey, wouldn't it be kinda goofy and fun if you put Batman into Metal Gear Solid, the first game, and have him do the mission on Shadow Moses Island? But then I realized Solid Snake is essentially Batman without the cape. Oh look, it's the Joker, I guess. Maybe? And he's doing the Dr. Wily thing? Oh, this weapon is interesting with a power, with a turbo function. At least this place has Joker colors. And bubbles. I guess. We also got bubbles. I think I killed the audio. Huh? Did something not load correctly? Ah, forgot about my slide. Weird. Instant death spikes aren't they a joy? And what is this bullshit? Where they're just like, oh well, if he triggers the platform but doesn't go on it, fuck him. Fun. Joker, are you in there? If you're in there, we have to talk about the way we license ourselves out to video game companies. Like, this is interesting, but also wildly out of character for both of us. With apologies for the incessant screen flashing. Oh, it's not... Yeah, the effect hopefully isn't as harsh on 30 FPS. I guess. Does the island explode? Of course it does. Anyway, that was Batman Return of the Joker. apparently there's a Genesis port with slightly better, but not really great graphics. And they wanted called Revenge of the Joker, but it seems to be a similar game. They also wanted to port that onto the Super Nintendo, but that got cancelled. Like a beta ROM is floating out there. But yeah, I mostly wanted to showcase this one because it's more of a standalone game, like not that strictly tied to the movies, even though it still kind of dabbles in the aesthetic here and there. And yeah, that concludes the first part of our long Halloween special. We played some really strange, really old home computer takes on the Batman mythology, and then dove headfirst into all the adaptations, and not all the adaptations. If I were to play every single adaptation of the first Tim Burton movie, I could go. I'm not sure if I could go all October doing that, but there were a ton of different ports of the games we just saw, slightly different platformers. I think there was also an arcade game. None of them incredibly remarkable. There was a PC Engine, more puzzle-oriented game that I thought of maybe showcasing, but yeah, we're mostly full up on the subject as it stands. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I got RPG, my playing group. But on Friday, on the next stream, I'm going to be playing Batman Returns. Which Batman Returns? Well, also not all of them, because again, Batman Returns was also adapted for just about anything that could play video games at the time. But specifically, we're looking at the Super Nintendo game, the Sega CD / Mega CD version, which is a enhanced port of the Genesis version. So we're kind of doing the whole console war thing in retrospect. And then we're also gonna look at the MS-DOS point-and-click adventure, which I'm kind of excited about, because that game is very different from everything everything else we've seen so far. Well, I guess the Amiga game had some point-and-click elements to it, but yeah, that's gonna be fun. So yeah, see you on Friday, and thank you all for watching. If you're new here and haven't hit that follow button yet, you would help me out a ton if you did, if you came back, if you tuned in regularly, of course. And yeah, if you have watched today, whether you wrote in chat or just lurked, thank you. Thank you all so much. You're the reason I do this, and I'll see you all on Friday, hopefully. Same time. Wait, hold up. Same bad time, same bad channel. God, that felt cringeworthy. Yeah, until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, wear a mask, and happy Halloween.